Welcome back, CMP community, to CMP Perspectives Beyond the Boardroom with David Reid. Hope you enjoyed our first segment with Tina Dewey from Westfall. We really appreciate her. She's our Teacher of the Year. Today we have Mike Hessman, our Athletic Director. Welcome, Mr. Hessman. Why don't you start off and give us just a little bit of information about yourself? I know you started in 1990, so you've been here for a long time. Tell us a little bit about your course.
Well, that's right. I started in 1990 at Choctaw Middle School. It was my first teaching and coaching job right out of college. I was there for 23 years. During that time, I coached football, basketball, baseball, and for 14 years of that, I was the middle school athletic director. Really enjoyed my time there. It was a great experience. And also during that time, I kind of moved over and coached a little bit at the high school. I was 21 years coaching with Mark Kraft on the high school baseball team. Coached 13 years on high school football. And then in, I believe it was 2013, I moved up to the high school, became assistant athletic director, still coached baseball at that time. And then in 2017, I was promoted to district athletic director, and that's where I'm at right now.
Awesome. Well, obviously this year had a lot of unique challenges with COVID and restrictions, both for players and fans. But regardless of whatever restrictions and things were placed, you guys had an amazing year. Talk to us about some of the accomplishments and the excitement that went on this past school year.
We really did have a great year. COVID has had unique challenges. We started out that spring when everything was shut down and didn't really know what to expect. We started right away. I know the whole district was writing some protocols, policies to do, and at the athletic department we did the same thing. Fortunately, I have a great set of coaches, administrator, staff that helped out tremendously during this time. The challenge was we weren't going to have any summer activities other than our Summer Pride Performance course. We didn't have activities such as summer baseball, basketball leagues, wrestling. None of that went on. And it was really sad for the athletes and the coaches. It bothered them that they couldn't be there for those athletes. But what some of the coaches did is that they got on Zoom meetings with them. They communicated through Remind. I had coaches all the time come up to me and tell me they had a meeting or called, hey, is this okay to do? And they sent out workouts to keep these athletes busy. We did have a performance course. We had a lot of protocols that we had to go by to make that happen. It was very successful. I think that, and I couldn't go on, and I know the coaches want me to say this too, we couldn't have the successful program that we have now and this school year and past summer if it wasn't for the support of the community, the parents, and the booster clubs. They were tremendous, and I just want to, on behalf of me, and I know you, Mr. Reid, want to thank them. That helped us through this and had a great, successful season. If you want to, I'll go through some of the things that we had. I hope I don't leave anybody out, but I know this guy's at everything, and if I do leave something out, he can help me with it because I know he's there a lot. I'll just start in the fall. Softball, we started out great season, was rolling. We did have a few bumps because quarantine and things like that. We had a few times where we had to, we were off for a week or two and came back, and they did a great job. All of our coaches did a great job doing that. But we were conference champs, hosted a regional, and we were one game short making the state tournament. Cross country, the most successful season we've had in years. I think it was the first time ever we had boys and girls both qualify for the state cross country meet, and they won several meets. Football, I just can't say enough about what that season was like, how exciting it was. Traveling to the games and just thinking on the way to the playoff games how exciting it was and what's going to happen. And we ended up making the playoffs, started playing some of our best football, beat PC North in the semis, or in the quarters. Unbelievable game with Stillwater. Last second kick to win that game to send us on to the state championship. We fought hard, came down to the very end. We had a chance. We ended up
one drive.
We just needed, sometimes it comes down to that 1 yard, and that's what happened.
So close.
Played a team that I don't remember how many they won in a row, and we gave them everything they wanted, I promise you, and ended up state runners up. We were very proud of them.
First time since 1960.
1960. Yeah, it was outstanding. It was great to be a part of. Loved it, every minute of it. Then you go on to the winter sports. Unique set of challenges there. with COVID, with everything indoors. I know everybody's on pins and needles to get a phone call. Oh, what's happened here? Who's going to be quarantined? The coaches and everybody involved did a great job of making it work. We got through all of our season, made it to the state playoffs in many areas. Wrestling, the success continued in that program. We won our districts, got to the dual state. Only one of 8 teams make it there. Several wrestlers qualified for regular state. We had a strong showing there. Boys basketball, winning season, made it to the area tournament. Fell a little short there, last second shot. Had a chance to go to a game to make it to state. Just came up a little short. Girls basketball. I think 8 out of 9 years in a row we've been to state, and we did it again this year. It was tremendous. They won some tournaments. They won the area. They won the regionals, and they went and competed hard in the state tournament. Another program a lot of people forget about is we have a swim program now. That's during that time of year. It's new. We competed hard. Our numbers have doubled in the last couple of years on the amount of swimmers we have. They competed really well in regionals. We had, I think, about half our squad make the state swim meet. Did very well. And then going on into the spring, things started looking better with the COVID situation. We didn't have as many times that we had to stop, play or call teams off the field and hey, you're out for a week or two. I think we only had one the whole time during the spring. And it started out, slow pitch. Slow pitch. I'll just say this: they were academic state champions again. That's something that shows that the Yellow Jackets not only do it on the field or the court, they do it in the classroom. They hosted a regional, won, made the state tournament again. Then you go into baseball, they were academic state champions. Again, I had several years in a row they've won that. They do a great job in the classroom. They took a tough draw in their regionals, got to the regional finals, battled, but they came up a little short making the state tournament, but they had a very successful program. They was either won or in the finals for all the tournaments they played in. Let's see, we've done softball and baseball. Our track programs were conference champions, boys and girls. Won multiple track meets. They had some state champions and state runners-up individually in the state tournament. They competed very hard and just very successful. Tennis won several matches. They had competitors in the state meet. Let's see, who am I leaving out here? Golf boys qualified as a team. The first time in a while that the complete team. Girls were very successful. Soccer had a good season. The boys, we host a Choctaw Cup runner-up. Girls were runner-up in that, but they competed very hard. Let's see, anything else I'm leaving out? Cheer competed on a national level. They were national champions this year. Right. And also our middle schools. I don't want to leave them out. They compete in a very tough conference. They won multiple tournaments and conference championships. So all in all, with all the support we have here and our coaches and the community, we did very well with what we had to deal with going into this year.
Well, with cheer, you've got your Palm Squad that competed in national champion competitions and such. So excellent. One of the cool things, both as a high school principal when I was there, but also in my role here in the central office, is when people think of a football game, they go, okay, well, we're just going to go watch the football team. Right. But it really encompasses so much more than that. You've got the band and the winter guard and color guard for the summertime outdoor activities. But you've got your palm and your cheer. Usually the vocal music sings the national anthem. You've got the ROTC out showing the flag, presenting the flag before. And so it is the Stuco, the student leadership in the stands. So much goes into it more than just one student group. It encompasses the full student body, and that's really a neat thing.
Exactly. And it's so much fun doing those type of things. We sat down, I think it's 3 years ago, and got a committee together, and we had a pregame program that we were going to do for football games. And we had, like I said, the ROTC, the cheer, palm, winter guard band, the choir. And we were counting, we had a military night, and we were counting, we had over 400 students involved just in the pregame activity of a football game.
So that's not including necessarily the football players.
No,
that's
not including
the other
it's
stuff.
that's how many that come out for
A Friday
game,
night.
Friday night.
That's awesome.
It's great
That's
atmosphere.
awesome.
It's fun. It's building the winning culture, and it's been very successful.
Well, speaking of the winning culture, there's a lot of emphasis these days placed on summer activities. A lot of people don't understand necessarily what goes on in the summertime. They think it's just a time off, but we know that, of course, it's not. So talk to us about the performance courses and camps available and all those kind of things.
Well, we have several things that go on during the summer. Like you said, we have a performance course, which is typically known as your Summer Pride, for conditioning and working out. But we have almost every single sport that we have does something else during the summer, whether it be a camp, clinic, or team camp. I'll start with our clinics and team camps. Most of those are already over. We had them at the last of May, 1st of June. We had a softball camp, skills camp, little kids camp. Great numbers showed up for that. Wrestling, Coach Coleman had a legacy camp where he brought in some of his, former Choctaw wrestlers.
Right.
Several, that were
Still look like they could go today.
Yes, I mentioned one like Jason Powell, a national champion in Nebraska.
Right.
He gives back. He's in our Choctaw Hall of Fame. I mean, he came back to help out. I don't want to leave anybody out. I'll just say a few of them. I know Zane Coleman, 4-time state champion at Choctaw, came back to help his dad at the camp. It was a special deal. Joe Flackert, 3-time All-American at OU. It was great to see. I walk up there and see some of these guys, and he's talking about some of their accomplishments, and they're getting in front of some of these, young athletes that's going to be at Choctaw, and they see that, and it's such a great deal. Josh Cruzan came up. He's a 2-timer state champion. He's in our Hall of Fame. He was, I think, the first 2-time outstanding wrestler at the state tournament. He's up there speaking to them, not just about wrestling, but about what he's done after wrestling, what his career is. And that's what some of these camps teach. But we had soccer. That was in early June. Baseball just had our camp with about 180 individuals in that.
I saw that. Water slides, baseball activities. It was a lot of fun.
I had a lot of people comment about how much fun their kids had.
Right.
And the coaches are out there building strong, positive relationships with these future Choctaw Yellow Jackets. There's going to be great student athletes there, and it was just fun to see, and just watching how much fun the coaches had. I don't know I think I mentioned softball had their camp. Football's later on in the year. We have some of the OSSA rules. You got to get finished with your camps at a certain time. We're getting ready to have the dead period, but football will have their camp, little kids camp. Coach Corbin's putting on a all gold camp that he does every year. It's in the evenings. It's for K through 5th grade. And they work out. A lot of it's to get to know these coaches, and the coaches to get to know them, build a relationship with the kids, the parents, the community. The parents come out and they do a workout. Sometimes it may be walking the track, but it's some type of workout they do. And
that's
very
another
special.
thing that our coaches do so well. Our varsity coaches really reach out not just to our middle school coaches, but also to our little league coaches,
Yes.
and help them with drills and activities that they can use with their younger kids as growing up, so they'll be better prepared when they get to the middle school and high school level.
Right. I've noticed that with our boys and girls basketball camps. They bring in some of the coaches to help out, and they bring in some of the students that are there now. They're around the students and the new athletes, and they help out a lot. So it's a big deal for us. I'll go back to the performance course and what we do and what our goal is with some of our summer activities. We're not only preparing them physically through agility, strength, and conditioning training, but a lot of it, we're strengthening the relationships with these kids, and we're strengthening their core values. We're making them better teammates. We're making them better leaders, and we're building for success and helping them be more successful later in life. And that's what it's all about. And keep in mind, all these camps are not only just for our middle schoolers and high schoolers. We have camps that are geared towards K through 5th grade. All of our camps like softball, baseball, the football camp coming up, soccer, wrestling, We
The
had
basketball camps
basketball
that were
camps.
this week and
In
next week.
the girls' camp this week, boys was last week. I walked by there and all these young kids there. Softball, I know, had over 100. Like I mentioned earlier, baseball, and these are kids that are K through 6th grade or 5th grade. 180 for baseball alone. Soccer, 135. It's just tremendous, and we're reaching out to those young kids. And also, if you're sitting there thinking, okay, how do I know about this? Well, you go to our CMP website, go to athletics, and we're always putting future events. There's a calendar on there. We try to communicate as best we can. If that doesn't work, shoot me an email. I can let you know what's going on. And
Give that email.
Huh?
Give that
It's
email.
mhessman@cmpschools.org. Just email me. I'll do the best job I can of finding out dates, times of everything going on. But most of that stuff's online, tells the upcoming camps. A lot of it's already over. We do have a few more coming up. I know the football camp's coming up in late June. But a lot of them, right when school's out, we start having our camps. And we try to separate those out. We don't have the girls basketball the same week as softball. We don't have baseball the same week as basketball. We try to do the best job of scheduling where you can go to multiple camps. I know I saw one of our coaches' kids. I think he's been to 3 camps this year, and so we try to make that available. But again, if you have any questions, go to that website, check it out. We'd love to have you at our camps.
Very cool. When we go into the McCarran Center, which is going to be fun, when we get to dedicate that building to Dr. McCarran, our retired superintendent, the pictures on the back wall are unique. There's individual pictures. Talk to us about the significance of those pictures and how someone gets their picture up in the McCarran Center.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. That's something when I look up there, I'm very proud of. I know the 30 years that I've been here in Choctaw, I'll go back and look, and it kind of reminds me of year to year, who was there, what happened. We've got it in order from year.
But what are they?
All-staters.
Okay, they're
past all-staters. I haven't even counted the number we have up there. I know
it is a large number. And so is that all of them, or?
No, we've got this. We're still working on getting pictures. And by the way, if you're up there sometimes and you're looking at those and you see somebody, well, I know they're all-stater and they're not there, contact the athletic department because that happens sometimes. We can only put their picture up there if we're given a picture. And like this year alone, I think we had 11 all-staters. Last year we were 12. 2 years ago it was 15 all-staters in 1 year. So and we still have some for the last few years. We've still got to get up there. We're waiting on pictures. I think a lot of people can't decide what's the best picture I want to put up there. But it is
a legacy, right?
Yes, it is interesting.
Very cool.
It's something when I'm at basketball games, you'll see people all the time walking up and looking at the all-staters. It's something I think is pretty special there.
Right. Well, Coach Hessman, I want to thank you for coming with us today and sharing about the Summer Pride programs. And thank you, community, for joining in again and watching the program. We look forward to bringing you other episodes in the future. But as we leave, we're going to leave you with some footage of some of the camps and pictures that Coach Hessman has talked about that's happened so far this summer. And just remember, several of those events will continue to go on. So until next time, take care.